Well, it finally happened. I got a tiny little sapling in my garden of thinking positive thoughts. I have a little sprout, as it were, and I will tell you what that sprout is. Actually, I've kind of told you this before. I guess it's been sprouting a little bit. Maybe it got a little flower or something now. But basically what it is that I have now realized and had experiences with what happens if I do something that would be contentious or that would cause me anxiety, but I do it with a positive mindset. And for me, what that means is first ask myself, what is the positive voice saying about this? And then do the thing instead of just jumping right into it when I feel like it's urgent or important or something like that. And the example of that is with all of our plans for moving overseas. And just to give you the super brief background, I have wanted to live overseas for a long time. We tried a very short stint in Germany that didn't work out to our liking, and then we came back to Utah, and Utah was always on the bottom of my list of places to live. Not the very bottom, but definitely bottom 50%. And so it was very frustrating for me to be back here and to not be living overseas. But Megan and I have had one heck of a time trying to get on the same page about why we will move overseas and where we'll move and how long we'll live there and what we'll do and what the kids will do and all those kinds of things. And it just... So in the past couple of weeks since I've really started this experiment, my normal behavior would be to get super frustrated and to express my frustration and upsetness in a very vocal way. But since I've been doing this listening to the positive voice experiment, I have tried not to, or if I have gotten frustrated, I've gotten myself back out of it pretty quickly. And so just today I was sitting there feeling a little bit depressed and dejected and what are some other D words, in despair that I was never going to get this done. And I remembered something that I had heard about recruiting people, like a leader has to recruit people. In other words, talk to those people, get them to understand the vision and see the vision. And so I was able to sit down and write down my vision in what I feel like was a pretty clear way. It may not be the clearest way, but it felt very good. And the point of it was, instead of normally getting frustrated and then starting to blame and starting to just really have a lot of anxiety and anger around this issue, I got to the point where I could clearly express what it was that I wanted to say. And we'll see how it goes. Megan needs to read it and then we're going to discuss it. But it's really nice to be in that position instead of listening to the negative voice and allowing it to basically ruin any chances that I would have at civil discourse or getting on the same page, because Megan would just feel attacked if I were to just lay into her with all my frustrations and everything. And it's really important, I think, and what's so cool about it is, if you think about it, it really makes a lot of sense. Everybody has a completely different set of hormones in their body. They have a completely different set of life experiences. They have a completely different way of historical experiences, but also of experiencing the present reality of their life. So it's not ever guaranteed that two people will like the same thing or want to do the same thing, but it is virtually guaranteed that if you do not at least express where you're coming from clearly, there's no way another person who's coming from a completely different place will understand why it is that you want to do what you want to do. And just one example of that is, I know that a lot of people who know us or who are related to us wonder why it is that I don't want to buy a bunch of toys and spend money and do all these things that I don't want to do. Well, there's a huge backstory behind that, and I haven't really expressed that backstory very clearly in the past. So now listening to the positive voice, that was something that came to my mind. So not only did listening to the positive voice help me get a good idea, but it also is hopefully going to help me to express myself in a clear way that gives me a higher chance of getting what I want. So that's pretty exciting. And either way, I feel a lot better about it. So even if it's complete BS, then at the very least, I do feel happier. I would be dishonest if I didn't say that I still have times when I have a lot of doubt hit me, and honestly I feel like sometimes I could see just trying to give up the fight, but I think this is a fight worth fighting and I don't want to give it up. And I don't think that it's going to be a fight for the rest of my life. I think that it is a fight right now to overturn some habits that I had formed that were not very productive for me. So anyways, that is it. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.